It is time to declutter your life, my gorgeous Sagittarini. It is time for the next step. It is time to move on. It is time to stop paying attention to those people that no longer make sense in your life, but it's also time to stop paying attention to those things that have been doing nothing but draining your precious energy over the last 46 months, especially in particular when it comes to you. The 13th of March 2022 is bringing a really big answer. This answer you need in order to understand the specific situation in your life, but most importantly to move on. By the time you get to the actual 30th and the 31st of March, this is the time of transformation. This is the time of the greatest clarity, but most importantly, this is the time of one of the most important recognitions of your life. This recognition is going to be absolutely everything. It is what you need. It is what you want. It is what you were waiting for. But most importantly, it is about to show you the real true essence in you, your own power, your own uniqueness. Your passion is your power. Your power is your passion. You just have to understand that it's all about paying attention to your intuition and just moving on with your life. This month is going to be way more important than you could possibly imagine. You will see exactly what I mean. My name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and this is your monthly horoscope tarot card reading, and it's for you, my gorgeous Sagittarius, and it's for March 2022. So this monthly horoscope tarot card focus is for you, my gorgeous Sagittarini, and it's for March 2022. And you are going to have a really interesting point here, but especially when it comes to the actual first 7 days. Within the first 7 days, you will know what was slowing your life down so much. Within the first 7 days, you will understand something so important about yourself, but most importantly, it's about this inspiration which is going to take a major aspect in your life once again. Your number when it comes to numerology, it's number one. Your number when it comes to numerology, when it comes to the whole month of March, it's number 136. On one hand, this means that you're going to have a lots of a bursts of energy throughout this month, and this burst of energy, it's going to make you kind of feel like certain things are really getting on your nerves, but this is actually really good, and this means that you're spiritually reaching a really important and powerful stage and a powerful point of your life. You have been doing certain things in a really right way. You have been doing certain things over the last 24 months, in such a way where a lot came from you, and now this month is most certainly going to bring you a really big reward. So it's about, on one hand, you will have a rather highly transformational time of your life. So every time when you feel like, you want to change things around, this is a really good sign. It's not only about you should be doing this, but by doing this and by following this vibration and energy, you're only increasing your personal power. You're making your energy more magnetic, but at the same time, you just kind of you want to change this about, then you want to change this about, then you want to change this about, and the more you do this, the more you find out and rediscover about yourself, the more you get into it, the more certain things are going to be resolved in your mind without you even realizing. This is what I'm talking about, and this is what it is, kind of like a... My goodness, can you hear these winds? It's crazy. These winds outside, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, anyway, so this is basically going to be the time where pretty much so it's not only about moving things around, changing things around, it's about this vibration and energy that is slowly at the same time coming to an end. So when something comes to an end, it starts getting on your nerves. And when you throw yourselves into it, then you just kind of reconnect with your own vibration. And this is why you get all sorts of ideas and realization. The more you get into changing things around when you feel like it, the more you're gonna kind of become aware of when it comes to your specific past. It's about the clarity that you get through and you gain through at the time when you least expect it. So while you're focusing and changing things around, at the same time you're focusing on this plant moving over there and this plant moving over there, but then suddenly something comes to you. And this is the power of our own imagination or of our own manifestation coming on top and staring us right in our face. So it's impossible to ignore things that you should be part of when it comes to your own spiritual path. Number 136 also means, that by the end of this month, you are going to have a really powerful recognition. Things that you have been working on. things that you wanted to happen, things that you wanted to achieve, but especially those things that were slow and weird and strange and bizarre, and they were dragging and dragging and dragging. Well, they weren't dragging. They were happening. They were going through. They were going forward. But enough things didn't happen around in order to get your attention to the level that you expected this to happen. It doesn't matter as long as the continuation goes through. So there is a very big reward that is going to come to you for those things that you have been focusing on and paying attention to and trying to achieve in a form of success. And what does this mean? Well, it also means that throughout the actual month of March, the more you focus on things that you want to achieve, the greater the last 7 days of March are going to be. No matter where you are, no matter what you do, no matter what you're focusing on, as long as you're doing good, as long as you're a good person, as long as you're focusing on yourself, as long as you're trying to achieve something, you can win. You can go through the biggest and the thickest darkness out there. We have all been the part of the dark outside, because there's some very kind of negative and dark forces like taking the center stage. But you know what? Bye, darling. You just follow your intuition. You follow your own candle. And this is how you're going to make sense of all the nonsense of the outside. Everything that you have learned, you have to unlearn and learn again, literally. And I think that became rather obvious, because we have been showered with the bloody sea and the rain of lies like for so long now. The only way to step out of all this is just to light your own spiritual candle. When the down is up and up is down, you have to pay attention to that middle. You need to stay in the middle. You need to stay leveled up, and the only way to make sense out of the nonsense is just to keep on picking certain parts of your life that you want to take on the next stage. In the midst of negativity and nonsense and sadness and darkness, that same vibration and that same energy can work in your favor, as long as you're able to manipulate this in the right way. Okay, so this is something that I need you to remember, my gorgeous Sagittarini. This is really, really important indeed. And also, basically it is about a very important part of your life. One more thing, sorry, going back. Going back, one more thing I was going to say. It is about the power of manifestation. This means not only that you're going to get a special reward over the last 7 days when it comes to you being recognized at the part of your life that you'll be recognized about, when it comes to doing good things, focusing on your life, focusing on your journey, trying to succeed, working on a special part of your life that you want to achieve. It means that from the past, this is going to be quite rewarding indeed. But what is another thing I want to say to you? Have a guess. Well, it's the power of manifestation. So it's basically you can also pick, and it's important to understand this, that the first 7 days of March are going to be important. So it's not only the first 7 days. The first 7 days are going to be very highlighted, but then you have got that are going to be very highlighted. You're going to feel very kind of a bursts of inspiration, and this is going to be your guiding light. So you're already going to feel a bit perked, within the first 7 days of March. But it's the actual 7th of March, 17th of March, and the 27th of March. You see, these are going to be very important days for you to understand, basically that, these are going to be very strong days when it comes to manifestation, and you need to pay attention to, there is something that is going to be so the same, very similar. These 3 days are going to be completely different, but something that you're going to come across is going to be leading, and it's going to be pointing towards the right thing. 7th of March, 17th of March, and 27th of March. This is to do with your calling, but it's at the same time to do with the fact that there is a very special part of your life that you need to pay attention to and take it on the next level. So it's not only about being successful from before. This is a one stage, but another stage is that these 3 days are going to reveal something so important, revelation, which part of your life you need to pay attention to in terms of this is your gift, this is your uniqueness, and now this is also going to give you chance then and there to manifest something really big. So these 3 days are going to be all completely different, but it is going to be pretty much so about the same thing that is going to take over when it comes to the same days. It's all going to be leading to all these 3 days. It's all going to be leading towards the one one specific thing, and that specific thing, it's also going to give you the opportunity to manifest something like a big mama, something huge, then and there. And the power of manifestation is going to be enormous. It's going to be miraculous. So something is going to happen and unfold really quickly. So by the time when you get to the June and July 2022, this is already going to be like a big mama over there, like saying, hello, my darling, I'm here already. You see what I mean? So it's the power of manifestation, like focusing on it at the right time and making the most of it. I hope you remember this because it's very important. On another hand, you know, I want to say that these numbers also in numerology, when it comes to 136, means that a very big aspect of your life that was making you dissatisfied, you actually were able to realize this. You were able to single this out. So now you will know what this is. So some kind of wish you had that is going to come through. Some wish is going to manifest to you. And it's pretty much so to do with the part of your life that was so heavy so far, especially over the last 12 months. And you don't want to be longer part of it. You don't want to be around that vibration. That is coming to an end. Because that made you feel really dissatisfied. And that was one of your biggest wishes, because it was affecting your thinking. It was affecting your way of planning, and that in itself, it's going to be a great moment in time when it comes to your success, because you will have the glimpse of something materialistic, something that you will be part of, and something that it's also at the same time going to put you on an advanced stage. On one hand, this is going to reflect on your health. It's in the best possible way. It's going to start the process of healing. But then on another hand, it's all about your own victorious moment in time, because the very annoying difficulties that affected your stability is coming to an end. So this is why this is so important. And the answer to this, what is the next step forward? You know the next step forward. It's about your own practical knowledge. Practical knowledge. Okay, and again, you've got like a basically pretty much so practical knowledge you're going to become aware of, and especially when it comes to the actual 13th of March and the 23rd of March, you know, in between the 13th of March and the 23rd of March, this is going to be the stage when the practical knowledge, something that you know how to do, something that gives you strength, something that makes you feel good, something that you are built for, you will know that this is the time to take this on the next level. But in order to do this, you're going to need to do the certain negotiation, but you will not feel like you're ready for the negotiation just yet. And you're absolutely right. Just follow your intuition. In order to make this negotiation the most successful, you still need to go through the certain experiences, and through the certain experiences that you need to go through, the answer is your own creativity. And pay attention to things that are inspiring you. Pay attention to things that you're looking at and they make you feel good. Pay attention to things that are making you feel really optimistic. Pay attention to the bursts of energies that you are going to have throughout March, and what makes you feel good. Why do you feel so good? And how can you make your life be part of that? And you can always feel good. This life is too short. Do not waste your life on the devilish like kind of entities out there who are like kind of having a ball at the moment. They have been for a while. Don't pay attention to them. By not paying attention to them, you know, they're not going to be able to steal your power. They've been doing this to so many people. This has been happening for a while now, and people are just coming to realize, you know, the more you focus on your path, on your journey, this is the only way to make sense out of the nonsense that lots of people have been through that absolutely doesn't make sense. So it's all about that major, massive, huge step forward that you are going to make, but it's again going to come through your own intuition, your own clarity. So it's all about the creativity, you know, but at the same time, it's about, you know, through your own creativity, what is also going to happen, you know, you are going to be very creative, and there is something quite spontaneous that is going to happen. Because when we are creative and we are enjoying ourselves, we kind of like really increase our personal power as well. And that brings us confidence, self-confidence, and that in itself kind of puts you on a path of being very spontaneous. So look what is going to happen, you know, and this is pretty much so going to be very impactful, very obvious in between the 11th of March and the end of that month. You will have a moment of creativity, and it's going to go from one stage to another, and then suddenly you will want to check this, you will want to explore this, you will want to explore this, and you're going to surprise yourself. Oh la la, I've done quite a lot, you know. But this is brilliant, because through your own exploration, you're also going to realize that you don't want to be weak anymore. I'm not saying that you were weak, but I'm just saying about the certain negative entities have kind of drained your energy in a certain way where you became really vulnerable. So now this is actually going to become your spiritual armor, and it's actually going to work in your favor, and you're not going to want to make the same mistake again. This is important indeed, and you are going to have such a powerful clarity this month. My God, my gorgeous Sagittarini, it's all about this clarity, because you are going to have such a big clarity this month. Within the last 7 days of March, gosh, within the last 7 days of March, you're going to make such a huge, massive, absolutely mind-blowing choice. It's about an important clarity that you are going to have within the last 7 days of March, and that clarity is going to open your eyes. That clarity is going to help you to realize where you are. That clarity is going to help you to realize your own power. That clarity is going to help you to realize your own uniqueness. That clarity is going to also help you realize the part of your life that you want to avoid, the certain people you want to avoid, the certain entities you want to avoid. It's absolutely enough of that. And this is brilliant, because it's going to lead towards you moving on and making a very important choice here. You need to understand that at the same time, within the last 7 days of March, you have to stop, over analyzing as much as you can. It's time to make a choice, because this is all about the clarity, what you desire. You will get a clarity on what you desire, and most certainly you're going to start moving forward with your life. What is also quite important here to mention is, please try to pay attention to the certain addictions, please. Something is like kind of sticking out and it's very negative, and you try to see what this is, because it's messing up with your own personal vibration. So which kind of addiction could that be, my gorgeous Sagittarini? Smoking too much, maybe drinking too much, everybody has been through so much, lately over the last few years, lots of people drink, and things like that. So try to see what is the first that comes to your mind when I say this addiction. It is something that your spirit, your subconscious mind, your big mama in the background is telling you, please pay attention to it and do it. Try to kind of do something about it, because it's starting to affect your personal vibration, and you don't want your vibration to be affected. But also at the same time, the reason why I see this is that essence of power that you are going to have in order to be that much more stronger to kind of go through this. So you're going to be able to kind of work on a certain addiction, and that addiction is going to come to you as soon as you kind of hear my gorgeous voice, see my beautiful face, and then it's just going to remind you like the certain addiction that you have. But it's pretty much so to do with something that you are kind of something that you're doing, but you kind of also you shouldn't be doing it. It's like something that you're putting in your body or something, smoke, cigarettes, or, alcohol, or God knows what, behave. No, I'm joking. No, but it's just basically the certain addiction, you need to work on, what do you feel addicted to? This is something that you need to work on. It's important. And also on another hand, you will realize how strong you are, and you will realize that you're much more stronger than you thought. And this is going to be a really wonderful realization, because at the same time, this is just going to be very closely connected to the very much so new emotional experience that you're going to have. And this emotional experience is going to be later on pretty much so connected to social invitations and events as well. You also, on another hand, this is going to happen at a time when your psychic abilities are going to your psychic abilities are going to be quite heightened, so this is going to work for you really well as well. You see, when your psychic abilities are heightened, I just had a wish to take a little tarot card out. When your psychic abilities are going to be heightened, and you are going to become aware of something so big, my lordy, you're going to be aware of something really important, and what you're going to become aware of is just really going to surprise you. Oh my lord. And you see, your psychic abilities are going to be heightened, and you're going to become aware of the bloody tower before the tower happens. So you will want to remove yourself from the certain person or group of people or the certain situation that that you don't longer feel like you fit in. I suppose, you know, this is a wonderful gift, because through the power of your own psychic abilities being enhanced, you know, this is going to impact your life in the best possible way, because it's going to make you aware of the Tower situation. Really weird, strange and unusual situation that would otherwise throw you out of balance like a big mama, like there is no tomorrow. So you will be able to project this on your life in the best possible way, and you will be able to establish what this, and you will be able to remove yourself away from it just by thinking already how you're gonna maybe kind of change your life a little bit, because it also signifies the fact that your certain journey with some kind of aspect of your life is slowly coming to an end. On one hand, you have gathered everything you need to gather, but on another hand, you know, you just take what you need and move on. Important, important, important. Okay, so now also what is also going to happen here, you are actually going to have first of all, you're gonna have a bit of like a chilling out stage, chilling out culmination stage here, and then suddenly you will be like kind of chilling out, you will be relaxing one day at around the 27th of March, and 27th of March is gonna be Big Mama here, and then at the same time you are gonna have a really important conclusion, and that conclusion is just gonna come to you out of the blue, and it's gonna make you realize that you are really approaching the end of a very, very difficult and annoying problem, and at that moment in time something unexpected is going to happen, something unexpected is going to happen, and you know, it's going to require from you to respond really quickly, and you're going to respond really sharply to the part of your life and to the situation that you would normally take 3 hours, or you would take 2 days, or you will take a week, or you will take a month, but this comes from the biggest, deepest part of your subconscious mind. So you're going to surprise yourself the way you're going to respond, and normally a few hours later you would be like, what did I say, what did I do? But now you're going to be like, no baby, no, this is brilliant, because it's going to more make sense. Why did you react the way you reacted? And it's also going to clearly show and pave the way to what part of your life you have to be devoted to in order to be loyal to yourself, to be loyal to this specific part of your life. You just need to also recognize which services and efforts do you need to kind of make towards the specific goal. This is important, because where you have been very indecisive before, you will be able to make a really important decision, and that in itself is going to be a big strong point for you, my gorgeous Sagittarius, indeed. So now when it comes to health and when it comes to like things like that, what is very important for you to get, my gorgeous Sagittarius, also you need to kind of try to kind of cut down the amount of time that you spend on the internet. You need to kind of cut down the amount of time that you spend maybe on your phone. You're not the only sign that I'm saying to, but it is very important, because your vibration is on one hand going to be very powerful throughout the actual month March when it comes to manifestation, but on another hand it makes you a little bit more vulnerable when it comes to like spending the certain amount of time on the internet. I'm not saying that you have to stop this, but I'm just saying now it's time to try to find a balance, because on one hand your psychic abilities are going to be pretty much so heightened, so which means that on one hand you're going to understand a lot, but then on another hand you become very vulnerable towards the certain specific like kind of projection that you get like through the actual phones, television, computers and things like that. I'm not saying to stop completely, but I'm just saying to try to find a little bit of balance. Try to kind of avoid the phone right before you go to sleep. This is important time of our connection and reconnection, and try to avoid the phone the very first thing in the morning. This is again very important time when we are part of we are still in this meditation stage, and we are still part of all sorts of different dimensions, so you don't want to mess up with that, because it's going to drain your energy even further. So this is what you need to do. Just try to avoid the phone at least in the morning for a few hours, and then take your phone later. And also like with the laptops and things like that, exactly the same thing. On another hand, what I need you to understand, it's all about reconnecting and connecting with the nature. The nature is a very important part of our lives, but sadly we are becoming like a robot sometimes, and we are just drifting apart, drifting away, and we are not even realizing what they want us to do. It's like it's becoming like really crazy, like, you know, we can't spend all our lives in the computer, in the laptop. They're starting to build like a houses inside of the computer, you know, like on this nonsense. No, this has to stop. The life is passing by. Yeah, hello, hi, yo, pass by, sorry. You know, the life is passing by. And they're getting like busy. People are busy like building houses inside a little game. No, no, no. Focus on the real life. That's the fake life. Don't focus on the fake life like constantly on the laptop or a computer, you know. Pay attention to the real life. So this is what I need you to do. Just try to connect and reconnect with the nature. Try to go into the forest if you're lucky enough to live by the forest, or if you're not, then try to find a park, like a bigger park. I hope it will be fantastic. Try to find a little river. Try to find a little sea, bit of a sea. Sit by the water. This, you just sit by the water, you relax, and you're thinking, and you will see there is so much that in a highly vibrational way, it's gonna come to you in terms of realization, in terms of seeing things, knowing things, knowing what to do, and in the actual terms of ideas. But also at the same time, try to like find like a really unexplored a part of the little forest where you can just kind of unexplored, where lots of people are not walking, you know, on something completely untouched, because the energy is so rejuvenating then. So you just find it, and then you sit down, you chill out, you touch the ground with your hands, and you just start the process of healing. The grounding is very important, but also your mind is very important. Your energy is very important. The way you feel when you do this is very important, because if you're drunk or something, you can't do it. I'm not saying you're drunk, but you know, I'm just saying that you need to be in a certain state of mind. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're drunk or something. Please, you need to be in a certain state of mind. So you can't be too stressed or too stroppy or too negative or too low or too down or whatever. You know, you just need to feel okay. You know, so you find like a part of a ground in the forest, and you touch it with your hands. You know, and then you just relax a little bit, and you imagine beautiful energy around your left hand first, or right hand, however you feel, and then you imagine this beautiful white light going all around your hand. You know, and then it's going all around your finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all you imagining this in your mind, and you're connecting and reconnecting with this energy. And then imagine first finger, this energy going into the ground. Second finger, you imagine this energy going into the ground. The third finger and coming back, you know, into the ground and coming back. And that way you're just rejuvenating yourself at the same time, and it's going to have an absolutely amazing effect and impact on you. So you do it with one hand, and then you do it with another hand, and then you will see later on something is just going to come to you out of the blue. Two things what you should do in terms of like the next step, but also some kind of timing. Suddenly you will know exactly how long it's something so important to you going to take, and that is going to answer so many questions to you. But on another hand, it's going to rejuvenate you at the time when you need to kind of get rid of the toxicity that you've picked up along the way over the last like about 12 months. I would say it was quite prominent. Okay, so now my gorgeous Sagittarini, I'm just going to see what is going to happen on the first date. But before I go there, I would absolutely highly suggest to get this beauty, absolutely one of the most beautiful crystals again. This is a gorgeous purple Suji stone. These things are not very easy to get hold of, and this is a genuine purple Suji stone. It's absolutely beautiful, and the actual energy is remarkable. As soon as I'm holding this crystal, let alone having it around my neck for a while, you know, but as soon as I'm holding it in my hand, I can already see this vibration. It just starts picking you up almost immediately. It's a really, really unique and wonderful vibration that this stone it's actually providing. It is going to inspire you. It is going to give you courage. It is going to give you good energy. It is going to enhance your confidence and power to deal with the difficult people and the difficult situations in your life that you will be going through throughout March and April. When it comes to making decisions, you will always have some kind of like a negative and dark entity that is very strong around you, that it's going to try to manipulate you. And it's very easy when it happens when this happens, because their energy takes over, and then we start thinking in somebody else's way, and then 2 hours later we are like, no, I should have said this, I should have said that. No, baby, no. This is why you have this, because this brings you right back on the ground. It protects you amazingly in a very unique and spiritual way, but also at the same time it generates positivity, a positive energy. It's against negative emotions and situation, but also it relieves stress, establish peace, and it's absolutely fantastic for emotional healing and anxiety as well. So every single time when you're doing something important to you, when you're trying to progress, when you're trying to think about the next step, when you're dealing with difficult situations but you also don't feel just right, this is your crystal to wear throughout the March and April. Almost immediately it changes your personal vibration. Okay, this gorgeous pendant comes with a sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel as well. I have to say that, so thank you very much. Now, the first date that I would like to talk to you about is going to be the 4th and the 5th of March. Now, the 4th and 5th of March, you're going to feel like a little bit of like a kind of, you're going to feel a little bit ineffective. And that is going to get you thinking, I want more out of life. And then you're going to think, well, I haven't got a, strength. You're going to feel like a lack of strength, which is going to make you feel weak. And it's going to put you in that indecisive mode. Now, what you need to remember this moment in time, that this is like a sign. It's like a blessing. You have to remember, in order to create a perfect harmony in your life, to do the right thing, you have to start with yourself. You have to trust yourself. By trusting yourself, you're about to, you will be able to see through deception. By trusting yourself, you will be able to see through an important deception. And that in itself, it's also going to open your eyes. It's going to help you to make sense out of things. It's going to help you to make the right decision when it comes to your financial security for yourself and the people around you. But it's also going to make you aware of an important knowledge that you have, that you need, that you must pass on others. People who are the most important to you need to know what you know, because by knowing what you know, they will not find themselves like in the sea of the darkness and negativity that can be prevented. And now, on another hand, the 4th and 5th of March 2022, it's just to basically pay attention to the actual 4th, 5th, in between the 4th, 5th, and in between. From the beginning, in between the 4th of March and the 18th of March, in between the 4th and the 18th of March, you are going to have really amazing and very unique epiphanies. Okay, and they are going to lead towards the magical opportunities. You need to also understand that those epiphanies are also going to be connected to the plans that are most certainly going to work perfectly. This is what I need you to remember, and keep this on your mind. The next date, and before I go there, another beautiful crystal I want to show you, it's a green moss agate. Now, this is all about like a reconnecting with the nature, feeling a very powerful vibration flow, and it's also going to bring you calm, and it brings you closer to nature. It helps you to concentrate, it helps you to focus, and it helps you to make the right decisions. This is absolutely superb crystal when it comes to boosting our own self-esteem, boosting our own confidence, but also staying focused. So when you wear this crystal, you can like not maybe sleep like for 3 days, and you put this baby on and you are like sharp as anything. It is very important, but it's also very significant when it comes to recognizing opportunities, recognizing epiphanies, and also having the courage at the same time to do something about it, because sometimes we need to we feel like we need to explore a certain part of our lives to see whether there is anything behind. So this really sets you back, really nicely. It sets you on the track where you should be, and it's kind of like really has got a power to remind you and to confirm to you which path you should be paying attention to, which path it's more like kind of ooh la la important to you than it seems. Okay, for March and April, this is a must. This gorgeous green moss agate, I mean, it's beautiful. You can see it through, I don't know if you can see it like this, but it's beautiful. And it comes with a sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel. I have to say that, so thank you very much. So now Now, the second important date is going to be on the 19th of March. So this is all basically about, it's about very important information and message that you're going to have, and it's to do with your own improvement. It's to do with your own development. And then it's going to go on the next stage, because in between the 19th and the 25th of March, it's all about what is the next step to do, to kind of like go on the next level of your life. Because on one hand, you are going to become aware of the outcome of the past efforts, and this is going to be playing an important role in you feeling really good and feeling like what the next step of your life would be when it comes to your improvement. But most certainly you will know. You will know. On another hand, it's to do with the resolution of an important problem. This is to do with the conclusion. The 19th of March is going to bring you massive conclusion, massive realization. okay, because this was creating very big negativity in your life. It's almost immediately it's going to bring you healing. So I know how much this was affecting you, and even more so it's actually going to bring a satisfactory result, which is going to bring you fulfillment. You'll know that this is to do with an inspiration, an artistic feeling that you're going to feel almost immediately. You will want to inspect a certain part of your life after at that moment in time, but it's all about the compromise, that you're going to become aware of. There is a certain compromise, that you're going to become aware of, but also at the same time, this is all going to be part of it. You will know that this is going to be one huge, massive, enormous step forward. On another hand, you will understand why certain things were delayed. You know what they say, ooh la la, certain things happen for a reason. You see, I wouldn't go as far to say like every single thing happens for a reason. I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but that's just me and it's my way of thinking. I think certain things happen for a reason, but not everything, okay? So there are, there's a really thin line in between this, but then again, it's me. I'm allowed to have my own way of thinking and my own opinion when it comes to that. So I wouldn't go as far as to say everything happens for a reason. No, because look at the big picture. So someone who's been through something really difficult, extremely difficult, everything happens for a reason, No, baby, no. There is a bit more to it. This is a bit more complex, okay, than what it is. But anyway, in this case, you will understand, exactly why certain things were delayed, and this is going to be brilliant because it is going to work in your advantage. And it's also the 19th of March. It's almost immediately going to be connected to ending that are going to lead to new beginnings. So you're going to feel a very strong urge to release situations and people that hold you back. This is to do with your spiritual transformation, but at the same time, with you completely removing yourself from that constant negativity. Maybe you have done this already, but I still see that certain elements are going to be here that are going to be highlighted, and you will want to move away from them, So maybe you're looking at something, watching something that you shouldn't. Maybe you're listening to something, and it's just so much that we can take of the negative and negative and negative. This is the time for you to cut through this and make a fresh start. It's very important for your own well-being, for your own healing, and for your own karma. Okay, the third important date, my gorgeous Sagittarius, it's going to be on the 30th and the 31st of March. Okay, so it's the 30th and the 31st. This is a big mama. You're going to feel very active. You're going to feel very determined. And then this is to do with your experience. This is to do with things that you are doing. This is to do with something that is very important to you. And through your own activity and determination and experience, you are going to have an idea. So first of all, you're going to feel like that ooh la la on the 30th and the 31st, and then this is going to lead towards a really important idea. And that idea is at the same time going to be, look at this, look, I'll show you now. The idea that you're going to have on the 31st, or the 30th and the 31st of March, these 2 days are going to be big mamas because it's about the idea. But before you have this idea, you're going to feel this burst of energy, and you're going to feel like re-energized. You will want to kind of like, you will feel active and determined with things that you do, that you love expressing yourself with and things like that. King of Coins, of course, absolutely fantastic. And this is also going to bring you one of the greatest accomplishments of your life when it comes to your finances, financial security, when it comes to you feeling really good, when it comes to you feeling content, when it comes to you feeling like really important with yourself, because this is going to make you feel really important. It's not only about financial security, but it's also about finding yourself on the path and realizing and recognizing that this is literally going to change your life. Sagittarius, this is why this is so important, the 30th and the 31st. You see this? Absolutely big mama in so many different ways. And also, the 30th and the 31st of March are going to make you aware of someone very realistic. And realistic person is going to really kind of throw you out of the balance a little bit, because it's just you're going to come across someone who is just like kind of gonna, my God, make you feel really negative, because they will have a completely different opinion to you. So I said this before, enough of that. Ignore any people who have completely opposed opinions to you. And if someone says something and you want to say something completely different that it's opposed to their opinions, there's absolutely no point, because you're going to come across someone, you can't have this discussion with this person. It's only going to go like, oh my god, you're just going to be like screaming and shouting over one another, because your opinions are like, I said it before, one is in Colombia and the other one is like in Poland. No, 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 baby, no. You can't. Your opinions are so far apart, and especially when it comes to that drainage of our energy, of our precious energy around people who don't mean anything to us. It's just this strong feeling of aggression in between us because we just can't understand each other. No, baby, no. So you're going to come across someone really unrealistic because you're going to be the one who is right, and you know it. Okay, because you know something what this other person, group of people don't know. So you're that much wiser. So you will be right. But it's all about the actual coming across someone and realizing that there is no point to waste your energy. Or absolutely no. Okay, you do not even need to let them know how you feel. None of their business. No, nothing to do with you. Bye. So now basically there is also going to be the certain obstacle that you're going to be facing on the 31st. Pretty much, so this is going to be strongly on the 31st of March. And an obstacle that you're going to be facing. And that obstacle that you're going to be facing, it's going to pretty much so make you feel like, oh God, lack of ambition, because you will be realizing that you need to kind of like do something, but you will not know what this is. And then suddenly, you know, this is going to be like your God's gift, like a blessing here. Suddenly, you know, there is going to be somebody who's very kind of interesting in your life, somebody who's very special, somebody who's very beautiful, both emotionally and beautiful spiritually, somebody who's like all over the place, like in the best possible way, the person who understands absolutely everything. You know, you're going to be talking to this person. There is a very important conversation that you will have, and this person is somehow connected to number 13. 1-3. Somehow this person is connected to number 13, and that person, you will have a conversation through this person, with this person, and you know what, suddenly there is going to be like bam bam bam, big moment in time, an inspiration. That person is going to play an important role in your life, because it's going to inspire you when you need to be inspired, and through that person you're going to get hope, faith, inspiration, and you're going to realize that specific part of your life that is becoming a very bright prospect indeed. And it's to do with things that you wanted to do for a while, but also like kind of like a trying to put in together, mix it, things that you have learned so far in form of a lesson as well. It's about following your own optimism, but also following those parts of your life that make you feel very kind of satisfied, make you feel very, that brings you fulfillment, pleasure and happiness, in terms of feeling optimistic and feeling that vibration rising within us again. Important. Okay, so now my go to Sagittarini. I'm just going to see what is going to happen to you in the first part of March, mid part of March, and the last part of March. Now, the first part of March, the more you express yourself, the more you do what you love, the more you're going to get out of it. You know, the more you kind of put things and energy towards things that mean to you, the more you're going to become recognized. It's all about you working really well with others, but being perceived by others really well, but also understanding that what you're going through in March, you know, throughout the March, it's also going to bring you an excellent reputation. It's going to give you a sacred it's going to give you like a sacred ability to readjust your life really quickly and make things happen, those things that you would think that would take much longer. By the time you get to the mid part of March, you know, there are going to be some brilliant ideas that you are going to have, but I would not rush with them just yet. So by the time you get to the mid-March, it's all about a certain brilliant ideas. They're going to be like running and flying through your head like a little butterflies, you know, brilliant, hello my darling, you know, but it's all about the actual you don't rush with them. Don't rush with them, because by the time you get to the 30th and the 31st of March, what I was saying, you know, by then there's going to be the whole new world of possibilities that you are going to see, recognize, and being able to be aware of that you normally wouldn't recognize. And this is purely because you're still being prepared for the moment that you will have on the 30th and the 31st of March. So this is why you must not like kind of rush with any ideas. You are going to kind of like pretty much so, you need to understand to communicate clearly and consciously, but at the same time to remain objective. The last part of March, it's important to understand that it's going to be very deep and unusual, and it's going to bring like some kind of maybe a little bit of unfounded fear, purely because fireworks. gosh, now it's like, do you know, fireworks, it's like a storm out there. It's crazy here in England, it's mental, and it's like fireworks in the midst of this storm. How strange. Can you hear it? Can you hear fireworks? Crazy. Crazy people, hello, I'm one of you. No, I'm joking. No, now basically, yeah, so the last part of March, it's all about the actual, the energy is going to be very thick, and you're going to kind of feel like, oh God, it's going to be some kind of unfounded fear, and it's unfounded. So you need to ignore this, and you need to really pretty much so refocus your thoughts. It's very important to refocus your thoughts, okay? Because at a time when a lot is happening, very often we are kind of being brought to a certain destination in our lives where we still kind of find challenging things around us, and our personal challenge is to just stay on top of things by keep going. Don't focus on negativity, because it's going to pull you down. You don't want to be down, you want to be up. This is what I want you to remember. So now, my gorgeous Sagittarini, those of you that are in relationship, you know, it's absolutely important to mention that at around the 7th of March, you're both going to overcome something really big, really huge, massive challenge that you've been through, and it affected both of you. So by the time, you know, at around the 7th of March, the 7th of March is going to be the key date for the couple, because you will overcome an important challenge, and that in itself is going to surprise you. It's bringing you surprise. It's not only bringing you victory, but it's bringing you surprise, and it's going to lead towards a very important negotiation. And the negotiations that you're going to become aware of, the answer to this is to stand your ground. Don't let yourself to don't let anyone to take advantage of both of you, okay? So you just need to kind of, when you remember this negotiation, you need to stand your ground, and don't go through anything that doesn't make sense to you. Don't do anything that you don't want to do, okay? This is very important. You need to stand your ground, because there is a tiny little possibility that someone might try to want to take an advantage of both of you, because you will be very happy at that moment in time, and it looks like some kind of devilish person is just going to try to kind of get something out of it when you're at like a certain point. So this is something to remember. When you have negotiation, you need to kind of stand your ground, so you don't let anyone to take an advantage of you. Very important indeed. However, this is brilliant, because that negotiation is pretty much so going to make itself evident at around the 27th, 28th, 29th of March, when this is going to become absolutely obvious, and it's going to be the right thing for both of you to do, because it's going to help you to move on with your lives. For those of you who are single and ready to mingy, my gorgeous Sagittarini, you know, it's actually what is going to happen here at around the time when you realize exactly what part of your life is just very evident and very prominent that you want to kind of make an investment towards. But this is not to do with the money, this is to do with your own energy. There is also going to be the very interesting kind of like realization that you're going to have at the same time. You will become aware of this suddenly, this place that you want to go to. Suddenly you're going to become aware of something new. Something is going to become very attractive to you, and this is going to require from you to make the necessary changes when it comes to your life, and rearrange it a little bit. When you start rearranging your life, you know, there are certain kind of like a different days that are going to start becoming more important than other days that were more important. So these different days are also answering your question, because you're going to find yourself maybe going somewhere on a different day, or maybe going somewhere at a different time, because something different when it comes to the time span is going to change, and that in itself is going to put you on the path with someone very, very interesting, and someone who is actually, first of all, who is going to make themselves known this month, by the end of the month, and somebody who you're going to see, they're going to be very interesting to you, and you will be interesting to them, but you will not see them as a partner just yet. You're going to see them as someone intelligent, someone who you look up to, somebody really interesting. They're going to make you feel rather vavavoomish. Behave. They're going to make you feel rather vavavoomish, but it's more like on a friendly basis, more like you will want to find out more about that person, but you will not be able to explain on which level. You will think like on a friendly level, or on a level that you want to learn something from that person because it's someone very successful. So it is going to confuse you a little bit, and it's going to be exactly the same with that other person. And the more you talk, the more vavavoomish you're going to feel. The more you talk, the more you will want to talk. The more you talk, the more you're going to find out about each other. You're going to find out more about yourself, and they're going to find out more about themselves. But this is just one step at a time. When it comes to relationships, it is important to start relationships when we are meant to start relationships. Don't start relationships at the end. Start relationship at the beginning. And very often people make a mistake and start relationship at the end. So there is nothing to work towards, you see? And this is why I'm talking about. So it looks like somebody is going to become very interesting to you, a friend, and then it's going to evolve into something very much so different. And you will see exactly what I mean. Okay, my gorgeous Sagittarini, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace, and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace, and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. Love you. Bye.